Demon Claw TV, proud to present another Frostgrave campaign. So this one is me trying out a solo campaign. I'm using a band of witch hunters, and I'm also trying out using small video recordings of the actual game recorded on my phone. So it's not Steadicam. There's plenty of opportunity for the camera to bounce around, and you get to see some dice rolls and a few choice curses and a few noises of celebration and victory when things roll better. Don't expect a lot of tactical competence in this game because we are only starting out at level 1. So, Witch Hunter Solomon Kane leading his band in search of witches, mutants, heretics, demons, and other people who should be dealt with according to the appropriate laws or burned at the stake. We've got a lead on a possible suspicious maybe hedge wizard, maybe wannabe necromancer, and wandering around with a cart going, bring out your dead, bring out your dead. Well, it's kind of suspicious. And we're going to go off to some old barrows and tombs nearby and make sure that they're still intact and not filled with undead. If they are filled with undead, we'll deal with it, and if they're not filled with undead, we'll know that there's something more serious going on because somebody's already been there and taken the undead away. Here's the start of the
famed witch hunter Solomon Kane leading his warband into the tomb complex, which might contain one or more wraiths. In the wizard phase, Solomon will cast Elemental Hammer on the Vampire Hunter just to his left. 8. I think I need 12, cutting for 4. Not on the first spell of the game, I think. Alright, we'll move and then we'll come back. Right, here we are after movement. Our Witch Hunter, who's an Elementalist, Solomon Kane, failed to cast a spell, move forward 1. Gwendolyn, the Vampire Hunter, move forward twice. Bernard, the Thug, and Penelope, the Thief, also moved forward. Alright. The apprentice, Heinrich Kemmler, will cast Elemental Hammer on the crossbowman, or crossbow woman, and fails. And this time fails by enough to take a damage and earn me 5 experience points. Well done. We'll come back after moving. Here we are after the apprentice movement phase. A whole bunch more people have moved on up. We've got Humphrey the Thug, Amelia the crossbow woman. Who's that? Oh, that's the Vampire Hunter from before, and Derek the infantryman. There's no creatures currently on the table, so they don't move. So we will then move the last 2 models and have a look at what that looks like. Alright, here we are at the end of the soldier phase. Parker the thief and Bernard the infantryman have moved up, so everybody's moved forward. The wizards are a bit at the back, but that's okay. Here's the armoured skeleton that has just awoken in this corner. So in the creature phase, a roll of d6 will determine what creature it is, and then we roll to see which corner they wake up in. So there's always going to be some pressure. You can't just faff about. So turn 2, wizard phase. We're going to activate the wizard, the vampire hunter, and the 2 infantrymen, and rush forward screaming into the middle of the room. Let's move the models and then see if we can cast a spell. Here we are after moving. Right, Solomon is going to attempt to cast Fireball on the skeleton in the corner. He totally fails, rolling a 3. So he'll be taking 1 point of damage and gaining some more experience. Learning via suffering. All right, the vampire hunter. Can she nail the skeleton with her crossbow? Yeah. Yes, she can. 18 and shoot of 2 versus 17 of shoot of 1 and moved 2, so wins by 1. That's 20, taking away 10 damage, 22 for damage because it's crossbow. Splat, 1 dead skeleton. Well done. Heinrich, the apprentice, is going to attempt to cast Elemental Hammer on somebody. Oh, we got the range of the spell. Oh, 16. 16. He gets it off. Well done. Now I'll check the range of the spell and work out who he's casting on. Turns out Elemental Hammer is cast within line of sight, so Heinrich will cast it on Gwendolyn, the Vampire Hunter. Penelope the Thief has opened the first of the tombs, and what's inside? A 16. I think that's going to be very exciting. Let me just look at the table. I was right. It is something very exciting. It's a Wraith. The Wraith also has treasure. However, going in there to get it is going to be difficult. The Wraith, of course, can move through walls, so yeah, it's going to be a bit of a problem. Because unlike other warbands, I don't have the ability to enchant magic weapons, although I can blow things up with magical attacks from things like fireballs, and the Vampire Hunter can do magical attacks against undead. Alright, here we are after the soldier phase. The 2 thugs, Humphrey and Bernard, have moved up to help surround and contain the Wraith. Penelope is there, and everybody else has moved up, and Parker, my other thief, is running wildly off in front of everybody else. So yeah, we'll see how he does. Either dead or promoted to treasure hunter. A ghoul has just arrived in this corner and run 9 inches and is now just outside of 1 inch of my apprentice. Joy. Well, we might need to turn around and clog him up. All right, in the wizard phase, we're going to activate the wizard with the thug, the crossbowman, and the vampire hunter. So first, the crossbowman will turn around and shoot the ghoul with the crossbow. And in a fit of total competence, wins 5-4, but that's not quite enough to do any damage. Being valuable, the crossbowman will now run away. The wizard will activate and move out of the way over here, and then we'll attempt to cast Elemental Hammer on the Vampire Hunter, and with a 6 fails and learns through suffering again. The Vampire Hunter will now, Oops, let's move my crossbow out the way. Vampire Hunter will now turn around and shoot the ghoul. And completely misses. 15, 1 to 15. Joy, competence, excellent. And spent the turn reloading, so isn't going to move. Oh, and of course, missing terribly, I just managed to waste the elemental hammer that, or at least I think I did. I'll check that rule in a minute. Yeah, whether I actually get to do any, whether I get to keep that, or because it didn't hit, or whether that magically, elementally hammered crossbow bolt just disappears into the darkness and explodes against the wall. Bernard the Thug is moving into contact. Oh no, that's Humphrey the Thug. Is moving into contact with the ghoul and is going to attempt to give him a stab. And loses, because that is a 9, taking 1 damage. Joy. The Wraith moves up and goes to attack Penelope, and brave Bernard moves in to tag it. So now it's a D6, so, or D20 dice off, because they both have the same health. And the Wraith decides to eat Bernard instead. And eat him he does. Right, so the Wraith gets a 19 plus whatever its fight score is at minus 10, so probably has just eaten Bernard unless its fight is 0. Let me just double check. Right, turns out that Wraiths are fight 2, and therefore that's a 21. They also do energy drain, which is double damage, so poor Bernard takes 22 damage and has his soul sucked out of his body. Blah. Fortunately, he's free and is easily recruitable from any local establishment after 9:30 at night. The ghoul now attacks Humphrey and is enjoying toying with him and inflicts another point of damage. So the infantryman Basil has run back and is now aiding Humphrey fighting the ghoul. A zombie animates in this corner. Fortunately, that is some distance away from the nearest members of the warband, and zombies are fairly slow. So compared to other high threat situations, I don't quite have to worry about that one so much. Right, my Witch Hunter is going to try and cast Elemental Hammer on Penelope's knife. Yeah, whatever a thief has, knife. And yes, it works. We actually cast a spell. Ho frickin' ray! Right, in the apprentice phase, we're going to try and cast Elemental Hammer on the infantryman. Oh, that's a 10. Elemental Hammer is, I think, I cast on a 10, so I'm going to cut for 2 and have 2 successful spells going, because I has a plan. Alright, the infantryman, armed with an Elemental Hammer, is going to charge in and attempt to give the Wraith a bit of a wongo. The infantryman wins and is more than the Wraith. However, the Wraith is immune to non-magic damage, so it takes 3. However, in good news, that's half its health. So Elemental Hammer did some good. Oh yes, blessed be to Sigmar and his flaming hammers. He's going to open the door to the second tomb. So we will see what he finds in there. Alright, probably Parker can deal with a zombie. Maybe, maybe not. A zombie has just woken up in this corner. Right, I believe the phrase is open fire all weapons. So, the wizard will attempt to cast a fireball on the zombie and totally fails to get it off and decides to suffer a lot for his art. Marvellous. The vampire slayer will reload and shoot the zombie. and misses. The crossbowman will reload and shoot the zombie. Oh, got him. 17 and 2 for the shoot is 19 and 2 for the damage is 21, less 12 for the zombie's armor is 9, which is more than it has. And the zombie dies, skewered through the head with a crossbow bolt. Apprentice phase, Heinrich is going to attempt to cast Elemental Hammer on the infantryman. And fails utterly and completely suffers for his art. And then he is going to attempt to sneak round the back of that and get back to near the exit. Rest of the apprentice phase. The infantryman is going to attempt to Wongo the Ghoul. In a complete fit of competence, Ghoul gets to 6, we get to 6, 7, 8, plus 2 for a two-handed weapon is 10, which is exactly the thickness of a ghoul's skin, so we don't do any damage. Right, Bernard the injured thug will have a go. And promptly gets eaten. Well, that was clever. Yep. He gets to 12 and the ghoul gets to 21 and just rips his head off. Bloop. Again, there's another one of those along. Penelope picked up the treasure, and did it have a dinner bell of monster summoning? No, it doesn't, fortunately. In the Critch phase, the zombie that Parker discovered in the tomb comes out and attempts to bite him, or claw him. Parker says, no thanks, do not want any, would not buy again. And it pushes it back and inflicts a whole 1 point of damage, scratching the zombie. Get back, ye foul fiend. Over here, this ghoul attempts to bite the infantryman and does so with a 21 and just up and kills him. This zombie lurches over towards these doors. Right. Penelope picked up the treasure, so it's now her turn to move. So, this infantryman will come running around the corner and attempt to revenge his fallen comrade. And in fact does so. Getting to 15, 18, 20 with a two-handed weapon, less 10 and 10. So that ghoul promptly takes the Bell of Sigmar to the head and falls over in a heap. Well done. Penelope comes racing around. Oh yes, and where does the creature come from? What creature is showing up? So it's a 2, so it's a skeleton in that corner behind the zombie. Okay, well, that's a problem for later me. All right, my wizard is going to attempt to cast Control Undead on the zombie. And it gets it off. Excellent. Right, we're going to command the zombie to pick up the treasure and bring it out here with us. Phase, Heinrich is going to attempt to cast Heal on themselves. And that works too. Yay! Double spells. All right. Critch phase. Zombie opens the portcullis and numbers through, and the skeleton rumbles through for one action to there. Although now it can see my crossbowman, it's going to, there we go, move up behind. Yeah. There's the wizard and vampire slayer and crossbowman at the end of the wizard phase, the zombie will walk forward to there, carrying the treasure there, while Parker watches from behind. Right. In the apprentice phase, Penelope moves and is now waiting at the door with the bag of treasure. Heinrich is ready to go, and he has cast is about to cast elemental hammer on the infantryman. 8. And I need a 10, 12, so I can cut for 4, which undoes most of the healing I did last turn, but fractionally better, and 1 elemental hammer is better than nothing. Right, here is the team assembled, ready to go into the last tomb. Okay, end of the turn, what have we got? 4, another skeleton in the corner. So this one, we're going to have the wizard activate with the crossbowman and vampire hunter, and Parker's too far away, and the infantryman, we don't want to go yet. So we're going to attempt to cast elemental hammer on the vampire hunter, and we get a critical 20. Alrighty, we'll have to have a look and see what bonuses critical hits give me. Excellent. So the critical effect is that it works twice. So the next 2 attacks with the vampire hunter's crossbow will be magical and will be inflicting 5 damage. Awesome. Right, here is the crossbowman shooting the skeleton. Misses terribly. The vampire hunter shooting the skeleton. Blows it to pieces. Pow. Parker has opened the door to the last tomb. There it goes. What is inside? A 19. It's another wraith. Marvellous. Joy. That's going to be exciting. Fortunately, we'll get to go next turn and hopefully shoot it up. And yeah, we'll be good. All right. Here we are set up for the final fight with the second wraith. Okay. Wizard phase. The wizard will move over to here to get the wraith in line of sight, and then we'll attempt to cast fireball. That's a 9. I think that might involve cutting for 3, but we'll make that go off. Now, okay, 6 and 5 is 11, which does 1 point of damage to it. The crossbow person can't do anything to it because it's magical. Parker's not going now. Okay, so here's what we do. The crossbowman will charge in and not fight. The infantryman will charge in and not fight. Come on, pick yourself up. The vampire hunter, who has magical attacks undead, will charge in and fight. And we get to a 21 all tie. Marvellous. So the wraith explodes and the vampire hunter takes 10 because they're immune to energy drain. Yay, we killed it, but only just. So the vampire hunter is badly injured. Everybody's had a go. Apprentice phase. Oh yes, did the zombie break control? No, it didn't, because it only got a 5. Zombie, you go over there. Can't see them. Oh yeah, the apprentice might stagger forward and see if you can't cast heal on the vampire hunter. No, fails. And takes another 2 damage. Right. All right, wizard phase. Witch hunters, we are leaving. So the wizard has just managed to cast a critical heal on the apprentice, which I think automatically heals him back to full. Well done, that man. The apprentice is going to try and immolate the zombie in the corner with a quick fireball. Do we get it off? No, we don't. Whoops, that's a disaster. I think he takes a... But fortunately, being an apprentice, he dodges out of the way of the exploding magical ingredients as it goes off. Right. In the remaining soldier phase, the crossbowman managed to miss the zombie and then ran, and the infantryman ran there, and all of those 3 are now within 3 inches of the wizard, so can all run at least as fast as the zombie. And oh yes, there we go. A skeleton has just shown up in this room, which is near the way out. So we might have to deal with that, but it's only a skeleton. The wizard is going to attempt to cast heal on the vampire hunter. 6. Might be cutting for 4 to make that work. Yeah, let's do that. And that means that the witch hunter, or the vampire hunter, is no longer wounded, so can run 2 actions. Let's have a look at that after we've moved. Right, in the apprentice phase, here we go, the apprentice phase. We've got the apprentice, Parker, and the zombie to move. The apprentice is going to attempt to try and cast heal on the wizard. And I need, what do I need to cast a heal? I need a 12, so I will cut for 2 to heal the boss. 5. Yeah. All right, and now we can lick it. Okay, nearly at the doorway. So didn't bother trying to cast any more spells. Everybody's just leaking it. The zombie has dropped the treasure and has moved into the doorway to intercept the skeleton when it comes through in the creature phase. In the apprentice phase, the apprentice will pick up the treasure and run through the door, getting off. And the infantryman will get into this big pile of people here near the doorway, ready to get off next turn. In the creature phase, the skeleton comes through, goes to attack Parker, gets intercepted by the zombie. neither of the skeleton can't fight because that's its second action, and the zombie has already activated this turn, so there won't be any fighting. And next turn, everybody runs off the table. Hurrah! All right, injury roll after the game. Does the infantryman... Aha! Recovers with no problems. Excellent. Well done. Bernard the thug. Badly injured. Have another beer. You can be recruited again later. Humphrey the thug. Dead. Spectacular. Right. We'll have to recruit a different one. All right. Treasure rolls. 1 and 6. Well, I think they are both money. So 1 is 50 gold and 6 will be something. Okay, 6 is 20 gold and a scroll. I'll roll up the scroll later. Now, the central treasure, so you get to roll 2 dice and pick the one I want. 9 and 18. So 18 will be a grimoire, and that, so 11 is a spell of control animal for my grimoire, and the scroll is 3, 4, which is Fleet Feet. Marvellous. So here is the warband after the game, the wizard and apprentice, the vampire hunter, the 2 infantrymen, the 2 thieves, and a surviving thug. And I have 150 gold, which I will spend 125 on and go and recruit a Templar, because I've got a good miniature just for that. Right, well, we'll meet him or her next game.
Right. After a moderately successful mission, we vanquished some undead and sent those poor deranged souls back into the afterlife and prevented them from becoming the servants of some deranged necromancer. We managed to rescue enough gold to attract the virtuous services of the Templar Amos. We also picked up a grimoire and established our base in an inn. I was kind of stuck as to what's the appropriate base for a witch hunter, but choosing a temple isn't particularly useful because getting +3 to miraculous cure and a small chance of getting a healing potion. Miraculous cure isn't a spell that I cast, so yeah, not really useful, although kind of appropriate for the background. And rather than just take the treasury, which is the base that Vandred's got, I chose an in because there's a fairly standard, easy to implement benefit, which might help me in case any of my specialists get injured. I can always leave them in bed and replace them with a thug and then get them back, which isn't something I can do without an 11th member of the team. So we'll have to see how that all works out. Thank you to everybody who's made it this far. I think next time I might do a video per turn, and then maybe a little end of turn recap. So always got an element of continuous improvement. Remember, do all those YouTube things, like, subscribe, and thank you for listening.